Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're looking into the disappearance of Cary Daniel, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but his disappearance reminds me of the bodies in a barrel at Lake Mead. We'll look into this, but that's what it reminds me of. He's been missing since October 25th, 1978 from Las Vegas, Nevada, Clark County. He was only 6 years old, 4'2", 65 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. He had a small scar on the right side of his forehead near his hairline. He also had a surgical scar on both feet near the little toes. White Quicksilver brand t-shirt, brown long pants, and brown leather shoes. He was in the playground of the Albert Einstein Hebrew School in Las Vegas, Nevada, October 25, 1978, during the school's lunch hour. He was last seen entering an unidentified vehicle and has never been seen again. I don't know about you, but I picture a creepy van, but his parents received a telephone call from an unknown person later in the day which demanded $500,000 in ransom for their son's return. The person promised to call back in 2 days with information concerning the payment of the ransom. He never called back. He was never seen again. Oh, I bet he was stalling for time. Suspicion quickly turned toward a former employee of the boy's father, who was identified as a suspect by the children who saw their classmate abducted, and then by others who identified his voice on the telephone call making the ransom demand. Yet, he was tried in court on charges of kidnapping and obtaining money under false pretenses, but a jury acquitted him. He was sentenced to 15 years, however, on unrelated charges involving rape and fraud. After his acquittal on the kidnapping charge, the suspect said he believed the child was still alive and living in Israel. Just unbelievable. In October of 2000, he was arrested after allegedly selling an undercover agent a handgun equipped with a silencer, rubber gloves, and bullets. During an 18-month investigation, the suspect also allegedly offered to dispose of a body within a distance of where he said the missing child was buried more than 2 decades ago. The suspect allegedly said he could dispose of a body by welding it in a steel drum and dumping it in the same place where Cary's body has remained undiscovered. He is known to have rented welding equipment days prior to the child's abduction in 1978. What does that remind you of? It reminds you of the barrels in the body at Lake Mead, doesn't it? So now I wonder, is that what he did with the child's body? Did he put it in Lake Mead or somewhere else that's nearby? Because it seems like that's what he must have been doing. And we'll look at a couple of other websites. This is him on oag.ca.gov. And like I said, I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Born November 12, 1971. It's got all his information. They even have the dental x-rays available. And there's the contact information. Here's the Charlie Project. Charlie Project always has a lot of interesting information. It says he was born with 3 extra toes on each foot and had them surgically removed at age 3 months, which resulted scarring. He had a gap between his upper front teeth at the time of his disappearance. He was last seen in the playground area of the Albert Einstein Hebrew Day School in 1600 block of East Oakley Boulevard in Las Vegas, Nevada. His classmates told authorities that he entered an unidentified vehicle on the school's property during their lunchtime recess. He's never been heard from again. His parents received a ransom call from a male individual 3 hours after he disappeared. The man demanded money Then claimed he would call again in 2 days with instructions of how the ransom should be paid, and then he never called again. Authorities quickly ruled out his family members. They believed one of his father's former employees was responsible for his son's disappearance and the ransom called. Gerald Howard, Burgess, was eventually convicted of the sexual assault on a woman at the Albert Einstein Hebrew School. The attack had taken place the week before Cary vanished from the same place. Several of Cary's classmates identified him as the man driving the vehicle Cary entered the day of his disappearance. Burgess said he was there, but only to deliver lunch to his girlfriend's son, who was a friend of Cary's. Other witnesses identified Burgess' voice as that of the ransom caller. He told investigators the location of one of Cary's shoes off the Mojave Road in Las Vegas, but claimed the child's abductors gave him the information when he acted as a go-between with them and the family. Burgess maintained his innocence in Cary's abduction. In 1982, Burgess was charged with kidnapping Cary. He claimed that he believed Cary was alive and residing in Israel after his trial, but he failed to provide evidence to support his statement. A jury acquitted him of all charges, citing a lack of evidence implicating him. Burgess was arrested October 2000 after he sold an illegal weapon to an undercover agent. As a convicted felon, he is legally forbidden to possess any kind of firearm or ammunition. During the preceding 18-month investigation into his criminal activities, Burgess also allegedly offered to dispose of a body near the location of Cary's supposed grave. Burgess claimed that he could weld the body in a steel drum, and reportedly said he had killed Cary and disposed of his remains in that way in 1978. He rented welding equipment several days before Cary disappeared. So he had already planned, it was premeditated. He was already planning on killing the kid and getting rid of his body in that way. That's horrific. He has not faced additional charges in Cary's case, but he was convicted of the firearms charges and sentenced to 11 years in prison. He was released in 2013, and he lives in Las Vegas today. Authorities said that they received a tip that Cary was living in Boston, Massachusetts in the 1990s. His case was reopened in 1999. Investigators continue to believe that he was the victim of foul play and are searching for his remains. Burgess remains the prime suspect in Cary's disappearance. His abduction is unsolved. That is just horrific. Don't forget to pray for him, his family, his loved ones. If you have any information at all that he has told you over the years, whether it's in prison or drinking or anything, please contact authorities and give them that information. Maybe he's told you what he did with the remains and where they are. If you know, please contact authorities. Like I said, please pray for that poor dear child and his loved ones and his family. And feel free to leave comments and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.